In life, the anniversary of anything, be it people, locations, various forms of entertainment, and food, all have places in the hearts of those around the world. While we may not agree on everything, the celebration of something, or someone, tends to draw everyone together, for better or for worse. And considering the topic I'm discussing, it's obviously the latter. Everything in the video is under the terms of fair use and all that other YouTube gobbledygook. And of course, spoilers incoming. You've been warned. Though before we begin, I want to say I'm not going out of my way to bash the game like everyone and their mother has done. With the amount of times Jump Force has been beaten into the ground, I could pick it up, brush it off, cook it, and make it into a hamburger. In simpler terms, I want to be constructive. For starters, I'll go over the plot so you have some context. The story kicks off when Frieza shows up in the real world and begins attacking New York, leaving you, the main character, fatally wounded. Luckily, future Trunks shows up and shoves a cube into you, granting you the powers of anime. After chasing off Frieza, the Dragon Ball characters take you to their HQ, where you meet Director Glover. The brief exposition is our world and the Shonen Jump worlds collided. After that, you join either Alpha, the combat team, Beta, the reclamation team, or Gamma, the recon team. Quick break from the plot dump. I don't like that the characters are pulled into specific teams. I want to make my dream team with Luffy, Jotaro, Yugi, and Izuku. I don't want to join a team, and the specific characters that I like or would want to add later are relegated to the other two teams. This is dumb. Let me make my own team. You railroad me into saving the world. The least you can do is let me pick my own team of characters. Okay, before I return to the plot, spoiler warning. It's 4 years old. You should have either beaten it, watched the plot unfold on YouTube, or you honestly shouldn't get this heated over a piece of fiction. Alright, back on topic. After doing some missions, saving some people, and the usual shtick of a hero, the big bad guys appear. Galena, a lackey who infiltrated your ranks, yoinks the collected Umbrus cubes from Jump Force and gives them to her master, Kane. He wants to doom humanity because someone game-ended his family. You beat him up, then Glover appears, and, shocker, is the mastermind behind everything. Galena kills Kane, but Glover, wait, my bad, Prometheus, absorption vores her. I don't remember all the finer details, I can't be bothered to remember, but all this happened in like 2 missions and 3 cutscenes. At this point, if you've played a you're the hero of this story and you have to save the world type of anime game, then the next sequence of events shouldn't surprise you. If you have no idea what's going on, don't worry, I gotcha. After reaching Prometheus for the final confrontation, you learn he was charged with showing Earth the worlds of Jump to enrich our lives and change them for the better. Unfortunately, as anyone could guess, we didn't enrich ourselves, and like any powerful entity with a messiah complex, he merged the Jump worlds and Earth together because he couldn't let us learn on our own, and decided to play Shepherd. To accomplish this, he pulls out your cube full of positive energy, merges it with the negative energy he collected from the various Jump villains, and attempts to become a god. In the next rapid sequence of events, the villains form a temporary truce. Kane, like many betrayed anime characters, wasn't dead and had enough life left to pass on his power to the main protagonist. Goku and friends bequeath a chunk of power to you, and after another battle, Prometheus commits die. The end. But actually, it's not the end, as even though you Thanos'd Prometheus, our world and the Jump worlds didn't separate, leaving Earth defenseless for the Jump villains. Luckily, at home base, everyone agrees with future Trunks that you should be the new Jump Force director, and now you're the head honcho. Congratulations. Now, am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah! Light Yagami from Death Note is also here. His subplot throughout the game is light does nothing but stand around like a goth loser. Then at the end of the story, he gets a dark cube intent on restoring the power of the notebook. His plot is not that exciting. In fact, I only think he's here for fan service because really, without the Death Note, my character could swat light around like a ping pong ball. Or a better way to say it is pretty anime boy who can't throw hands is here for no other purpose than to act as sequel bait. Yeah. Other than that, that's the long and short of Jump Force's story. Overall, Jump Force is mediocre. For context, I've played One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, My Hero Academia, One's Justice, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, and One Piece Burning Blood. And while all of them have their ups and downs, they have a lot more to them. I feel bad for the developers of Jump Force because it looks like they were handed this idea, but they had no time to coherently flesh it out. It feels like a mishmash of all of those games without the charm or rhythm each of them have. Some characters, Dragon Ball, are way stronger than others. Some abilities, like the buff skills or Asta's specials, you can unlock for your self-insert are useful, while others are downright unusable or take too long to set up, like the black cube from Bleach. And sometimes, you just mindlessly trounce your brother in a free-to-play match with Goku because his one special is spammable, does lots of damage, and he just sits there because the moment he gets up, he knows you'll just kill spam him again. Or in TLDR fashion, this game was not properly balanced in the slightest. Moving away from gameplay, a lot of the aspects of Jump Force felt rushed and undercooked. For starters, I can't recall any of the music. It didn't impact me in any way, shape, or form. It went in one ear, out the other, and then to the next track. The graphics look nice at first, but then when the characters do anything, they move in an unsettling way. Like the devs weren't given ample time to fine-tune the rigs. Full disclosure, I love self-insert games with a golden character protagonist, but the plot here was just unremarkable. Though the one aspect I liked is the voice acting. Granted, I played Jump Force with the Japanese VAs, but I did listen to the dub real quick, and it was alright. Look at it like this, the only way you can truly mess up voice acting is if you're Phoenixing games. Ugh. I can't really say much else here because, in my opinion, it feels like the developers only did this because they needed the paycheck. When I skim Wikipedia articles for my scripts, I usually look at the sources they used for the development section. And with how the development of something came to be, either the screw-ups are a lot more interesting, or the trials and tribulations make the material that much more endearing. I looked at the single paragraph under development of the game, and that told me everything. It feels polished, empty, and lacks any input from the creators. This is bad, because I can't understand and empathize with what the devs of Jump Force went through. I don't see the story of them moving from point A to point B. I see mediocre game journalist outlets regurgitating the same canned response. The internet wasn't much help either. I want to know how this happened and why. Not basic information that any dime a dozen game journalist and a search engine can pull off. Unfortunately, I feel I will never find a competent answer. Now, this isn't to say that the game isn't salvageable. I like being in the mindset that 8 times out of 10, you can fix whatever the idea is in question and make it better. Please remember though, I am not a game developer, I am a YouTuber that has knowledge of entertainment, and I'm merely expressing my thoughts and opinions on how I would improve the game. Well, first, I believe the presentation needs a serious overhaul. The main menu, the character selection screen, the HUD during fights, the world. the music, and the stories don't feel fun. They feel boring. Whenever I think about the content Japan sends over to America, I tend to think of how fun, insightful, and exciting the anime and manga I get to consume are. Without that fun factor to how everything looks and feels, it comes off as bland and tasteless, like British cooking. I don't want super dark and gritty. I get enough of that living in the not-so-good old US of A. Second, the gameplay could do with a major tune-up. On one end, I'm fruitlessly grinding or non-stop fighting to make my abilities stronger. And at the other end, like I said earlier, the characters aren't balanced. I haven't played any other J-Stars game out there yet, so I have no idea how broken Jump Force is to its other counterparts. But I've played enough fighting games to know that you have to have some sort of balance. Otherwise, there's that one character that destroys any fun because of the unequal power gap. I'm not saying the next game has to be perfect. No matter how hard the devs and community will try to balance it out, there will always be that one person who will give it their 200% to find a way to absolutely wreck everything. All I want is to either play as Gon, Asta, Jotaro, Luffy, or Izuku without the fear that someone will pull out a Dragon Ball character and wipe the floor with everyone without any effort or skill. I don't need numerous bells and whistles. All I need is to stand a chance against a character without resorting to being as mindless and predictable as a Goku player. Lastly, the story could have been a lot better. I love a good save the world plot, don't get me wrong, but Jump Force is just so cut and dry about it that I'm more bored than invested. This is the exact same plot as Sonic Forces. The multiverse is in danger, and only you can stop it. There's no problem with a self-insert savior of the world protagonist. Self-indulgence isn't the issue here. The issue is I've heard this plot once before, and I'll most likely hear it 100,000 more times this decade. Why not make it like the previous game? But this time, you, the main character, join in on the tournament to be the greatest fighter, and you get to assemble your dream team of Jump protagonists. Or your main character is an average Joe, and gets sucked into the digital realm as the big bad villain wants to dissect and overanalyze the Jump protagonists. But luckily, you throw a wrench into their plans. Or it's a theme park built around fighting and fun minigames with various Jump characters, and you're their newest attendee, filling out a prize sheet? I know these aren't the best ideas in the whole world, but honestly, I think it would be an improvement, however slight. If anyone wants to use my ideas, my demands are give me a job, a paycheck, and some work experience. That's all I want. I don't hate Jump Force, but I also don't like it. It feels like a meal that has way too many overbearing or conflicting elements. I enjoyed it at first, but the small details that bothered me or hindered my enjoyment of the game piled up rapidly. I lost interest in replaying as the credits rolled because the game didn't make it fun to get stronger or interact with the world around me. And after the scene with Light and Ryuk, it felt like the game was trying to set itself up for a sequel. But considering how in late 2021, Bandai Namco discontinued the physical game, early 2022 it got a huge discount, was delisted from online stores, and then halfway into last year the online servers got canned. I would like to pick a sequel is unlikely to happen in the next decade for 500. In conclusion, I want to enjoy Jump Force, but the bad gameplay, hollow story and character interactions, and rushed presentation left me forcing myself to pay attention every time I booted it up. It could have been something great, but instead it came off like a rushed product for the 50th anniversary of Jump. The 50th anniversary should have been celebrated with a manga, a movie, or something other than a game, because a game in its entirety takes time to make and polish. Making a video game to capitalize on an anniversary without planning, designing, and testing way before that anniversary is always prone to failure. I'm providing an old example, but look at Sonic 06. Sega tried to capitalize on the 15th anniversary of Sonic and spread themselves too thin in the process. In very oversimplified terms, they tried to reach an unreasonable goal in too short of a time frame, and the game suffered because of it. To everyone who worked on Jump Force, I'm sorry if you guys were burning the candle at both ends to reach your deadline. That wasn't fair, and it certainly wasn't healthy. And to the collective executives who thought this was a good idea, I hope you learned your lesson. And that lesson is don't rush your developers. Oh, who am I kidding? You won't learn by the 75th anniversary. 20 years from now, you'll probably rush out another game, and it'll be the same song and dance because business executives don't have the words patience and contentment in their vocabulary. Before I end the video, everyone, please remember this train of logic. If you don't like a game, write down what doesn't make it fun, and learn what it fails to accomplish in terms of that genre. If you have a substantial following and resources, commission people who have that game-making experience and work towards that goal. Complaining like every low-tier YouTube reviewer about how bad the game is doesn't make the next one any better. Finding the problems, learning from them, and constructively working towards your realistic dream game will. A truly good video game is meant to be fun, meant to give me the satisfaction of interacting with the world the developers created. That said, if it fails on every fundamental level, then in my opinion, it's not a game worth playing. Big shout out to my friend Insignios. Thank you for the Jump Force footage. To everyone out there, I do not have a capture card yet, so this was a big help. Since I have nothing left to say, I'm playing J-Star's Victory VS Plus because Gintoki Sakata is my bro. I'm Mr. J, telling you to have a day.